and midfielder Frank Ribery. We'll begin with a quick statement from Coach Guardiola on being the guests in this year's MLS All-Star Game. What are your thoughts about being here today in Portland?
Well, good morning. Naturally, we are so happy to be here to play one of the best players for MLS. It's part of our preparation for the next week to play our first title, and nothing. We're happy to come back here in Portland.
All right, we'll now open the floor to questions and answers. Just raise your hands and we'll get you a microphone so you can go ahead.
Pep, en español. Después del título mundial que consiguió Alemania, se ha hablado mucho en varios países, particularmente también en Estados Unidos, de implementar un modelo similar al alemán en cuanto al fútbol, tanto en selecciones como en clubes. Estando ya inmerso en ese fútbol, ¿qué tan viable puede ser eso, no solamente para Estados Unidos, sino para otros países, adaptar ese proceso, ese proyecto futbolístico?
Me da la impresión que solo copiamos al que gana. Cuando ganaba España, todos querían imitar a España, ahora que gana Alemania, todos quieren imitar a Alemania. Lo que tiene que hacer la gente es hacer lo que siente. Las copias no sirven en el deporte, en el fútbol, en la vida. Cada uno hace lo que tiene que hacer. Porque hoy ganas, pero mañana vas a perder con el mismo estilo y con la misma idea. Nunca, nada tiene garantía. Mi consejo es que cada uno haga lo que sienta, que es lo mejor, y a partir de ahí tirar hacia adelante.
We'll go to Adrian. Just make sure you state your name and organization before your question.
Hello, yes, Adrian Healy from ESPN. Pep, welcome back to the United States. Welcome to Portland. We'd just love to get your assessment on soccer culture here in the United States, and perhaps how your view on the sport was shaped by spending a year here in New York City.
I spent a very good year, my year off in New York. I learned a lot about the culture, how the people love here the sports, not just soccer. But I think the soccer is maybe now is getting better. The development of soccer is every year is much better, and I think it's a process. It's a huge country. I think it's like this is a huge young players. Try to help them to increase their talents, and to keep a good trainer, a good philosophy, and try to be patient. Julian knows better than me how important it was the national team in Brazil. They played Jurgen Klinsmann, and their boys made a good job. And I think sooner or later, when they focus to become one of the best teams of the world, they can do it, because in basketball and in baseball and American football and skiing and all of the sports and swimming pool and golf and everything, here is the best country in the world. So it's just to put the best facilities, the best conditions to get in better, and sooner or later they will become one of the best.
Go ahead, Grant.
Grant Wald, Sports Illustrated for Pep. You've been in charge at Bayern for a year now. How would you describe the style of play you have tried to instill at Bayern and the adaptations, the changes you've had to make, maybe from how you played at Barcelona, given the players here?
I have to adapt to my players. I can't play like I want. Of course, I have an idea, but I have to know when we talk about the tactics. First of all, we have to talk about the skills of our players. We can talk about the tactic with the skills of my players. That is the most important. Analyze their talent, their mentality, and after to make an agreement all together. So in that way is the best for the team, for these players, and I have to seduce them. How is the best for to play our football? But I have to adapt. Because I'm not here to change their mentality. I'm not here to change the culture from Bayern Munich or the Deutschland mentality. And I have to here to learn, to adapt in each other, and in the same way to look forward.
Next question right over here, front row.
Jürgen Schmieder from Süddeutsche Zeitung. Pep, 8 players will be joining the squad on Thursday. Do you have a plan on how to use them, and could you give an estimate on how much playing time you intend to give them during the match?
The next game here.
Yeah.
Okay, they travel. They are going to travel 12 hours to be here for the sponsor, for the respect for the MLS. And after the game, we're going coming back all together to Munich. So no, I don't know. I'm going to talk with them. Some of them, they run a little bit to make something of this kind of players. Maybe they can play a little bit more, but I think not more than 15 minutes because 3 weeks off and 12 hours, and after immediately to play, I don't want to take a risk. And but they will be there, and at the end of the game, they are going to play. A little more or less, they are going to play.
Just wait 1 second.
Oh, guys, it's a pleasure to talk to you, but we have a kids room. There's guys, they speak too, so they are going to play. I'm not going to play. Come on. It's Julian, the new star for American soccer.
But I think this one is more for you. I wanted to know when you think you can use them fully in the squad again, the players.
Sorry. No.
I wanted to know when you think you can use the players that come tomorrow for the full time in the squad again.
Full time?
Or full time?
Play 90 minutes?
Or 90 minutes or regularly?
Oh. Regularly.
When?
So I don't know, it depends on them. Some of them, so they reach his best condition quicker than the other one. So we're going to see step by step. So now the guys who are here, they are feel better. Their condition has feel better because they train in 2-3 weeks, and so the next games they are going to play. But sooner or later they are going to, to reach the best fit, the best condition, and when they deserve to play, they are going to play. They have to fight between each other, and after they have to decide the best for the team.
All right, we'll go over to Kyle.
Kyle McCarthy, Fox Soccer. Julian, how important has it been for you to go through this process with the first team this summer, and how much do you expect to play on Wednesday night?
It's always nice to be with the first team, and it's a nice experience. And how I say, I want to show everybody that I can score goals, not just only in the World Cup, but also for the first team at Bayern. And the All-Star game is very nice for me. I will see a lot of my teammates from the national team. So we were together, I think, 7 weeks, and in the 7 weeks you get together very, very close. So it's nice for me to see them. Again.
All right, we'll come to the front row here.
Carlos López, TC Munich. Pep, el miércoles vas a enfrentar también a un personaje que tú conoces del pasado, Thierry Henry. A lo mejor podrías explicar un poco tus sentimientos antes de enfrentarte al que era tu jugador en el Barcelona.
Sí, después de dejarnos de trabajar juntos, nos vimos en el año que estuve en Nueva York, que él vivía en Nueva York, nos estuvimos viendo un par de veces. Ha sido uno de los más grandes futbolistas, evidentemente ha quedado en Francia, pero en el fútbol europeo. Una persona extraordinaria, fue una gran suerte para mí poder entrenarle y tengo ganas de saludarle, mañana volver a jugar contra él, en este caso. Y me alegro mucho que a su edad aún tenga la pasión y las ganas de seguir jugando al fútbol. Yo estoy seguro que seguirá, una persona como él seguirá estando en el mundo del fútbol como jugador o en otra tarea.
Go ahead.
Brian Costello, Timbers.com. Much has been said about Portland as a soccer city, USA. There's a question for Julian and the players. How much of that impression of the city were you aware of beforehand, and what's been your impression so far of Portland as a true soccer city?
I wasn't here before, so it's my first time, and it's a very nice city, and you feel that it's a soccer city. The field in Portland is very good, very nice. So we are happy to be here, and it's a nice city, and it's a soccer city.
All right, we'll come right over to go ahead.
Uli Köhler, Sky Sport News, Germany. I have to apologize to my colleagues. I want to have an answer in German when it's possible. Pep, was vorher schon passiert ist. Die 8 Spieler der Weltmeisterschaft, die jetzt kommen. Noch einmal, wir haben das nicht richtig mitbekommen. Wie viel können Sie schon, haben die Hausaufgaben bekommen, dass Sie schon trainieren müssen jetzt während dem Urlaub, ein bisschen Training? Und wie viel werden Sie spielen können hier? Hier.
No, ich habe bevor gesagt, so, wir müssen mit ihnen sprechen und sehen, was ist ihre Kondition, wie viele Mal sie trainieren haben in diese drei Wochen. Ich denke, sie haben wenig gemacht, das ist normal. So, sie verdienen Urlaub, vergessen Fußball, ruhig bleiben mit seiner Familie, mit ihren und sprechen und nach, wir werden eine Entscheidung treffen, was ist das Beste. Aber ein bisschen natürlich, wenn sie hier kommen, für Portland-Fans, für diese Freundschaftsspiel, natürlich weniger oder mehr, wir werden etwas spielen.
All right, next question will go to the gentleman in the back with the camera.
Taufik Khalil, ARD. Bitte auch in Deutsch. Pep, es geht auf Kunstrasen. Ist das ein Problem? Kennen Sie den Rasen? Ist das oder macht das gar nichts? Das ist noch
Kein
total.
Problem. Ist besser, wenn für meine Erfahrung hier mit der ehemaligen Mannschaft. Ich kam mit Barcelona, wir haben gewechselt, der Rasen mit Natural Rasen nur für dieses Spiel für 3-4 Tage. Und der Rasen war Katastrophe, weil es nicht stabil. Und wenn es nicht möglich Spiel mit normaler Rasen, okay, wir werden mit artifizieller Rasen, ist sicher, ist besser, so kein Problem.
Go ahead.
Jörg Alto von Bild, auch 2 Fragen auf Deutsch bitte. Ich habe 2 Fragen, eine an Pep Guardiola, eine an Franck Ribéry. Die erste Frage, Marca schreibt heute, dass der FC Barcelona, also ihr Ex-Verein, Jerome Boateng verpflichten möchte. Hat Barcelona eine Chance?
Normalerweise spreche ich nicht über die Informationen für die Zeitung. So, nur ich vertraue mit der Info mit Matthias Sammer oder mit dem Präsident. Wenn sie etwas sagen über dieses Thema, okay, kann ich sagen, aber für die Information für die Zeitung.
Aber Sie planen mit Jerome Boateng?
Nein, die Planung ist Jerome Boateng. Übermorgen ist hier und die nächste Saison spielt mit uns.
Sie planen mit ihm?
100%.
All right, we're going
Franck,
to go.
Entschuldigung, eine Frage habe ich noch an Franck Ribéry.
Sorry.
Franck, hier in Portland, in Amerika, wie fühlst du dich? Macht das Spaß hier? Sind hier genauso viele Fans wie in Deutschland? Wie genießt du hier Portland?
Ja, ich glaube, wir sind alle glücklich, wir sind in Amerika. Wir sind ein paar Tage in New York und jetzt wir sind in Portland. Wir haben noch ein Freundschaftsspiel Mittwoch. Ja, ich glaube, die Mannschaft ist alle zufrieden, Training sehr gut und das ist auch für diese Fans von Amerika ist immer gut und für Bayern ist komplett anders. Das ist eine neue Stimmung und das ist super.
Good. All right. Now we're going to go to Adrian.
Question for Robert and then a question for Frank, if I might. Robert, welcome to the US, welcome to Portland. Bayern Munich have had many legendary strikers over the years, Gerd Müller, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, Jürgen Klinsmann. How does it feel to be following in their footsteps and wearing the number 9 for Bayern?
Ja, ich bin zufrieden, dass ich hier bin und ja, das stimmt, dass viele große Stürmer war vorher mir und natürlich das für mich auch ist eine gute Nachricht, weil ich weiß, auch ich muss gut spielen und auch viele Tore schießen, das ist immer, wenn du Stürmer bist und ich bin hier, dass noch besser Spieler sein und auch Hilfe die ganze Mannschaft zum Titel holen. Natürlich, das ist meine erste Saison, aber ich hoffe, das wird gute Saison für mich und natürlich auch für die ganze Mannschaft, auch wegen die Titel, ich hoffe, dass wir gewinnen in dieser Saison.
Obviously, I'm following in big footsteps, and it's a really exciting opportunity for me. I'm really happy to be here with the team, and I want to do well, and I want to do well not just for me, but for the team. And of course, there's certain pressure on forwards, but I'm feeling very confident that we're all going to do very well as a team together.
And a question for Frank. Welcome to Portland again, welcome to the US. Can you try and describe for us what it was like this summer watching France and not being able to help, particularly in the quarterfinal against Germany when they were up against so many players you know so well?
Ja, wie hat es sich angefühlt, nicht möglich zu sein für dich, mit Frankreich zu spielen? Und besonders das Deutschland-Frankreich-Spiel, wie hast du dich gefühlt?
Ja, natürlich war es schade, ich war da nicht in Brasilien. Ich konnte nicht spielen in WM mit meiner Welt. Natürlich, ich habe gesehen dieses Spiel. Wenn Frankreich hat gespielt gegen Deutschland, war ein bisschen komisch für mich. Und ich war natürlich ein bisschen traurig. Aber das ist Leben, das ist Fußball. Und ich glaube, das ist wichtig. Ich bin wieder gesund. Ich kann wieder Training normal mit meiner Mannschaft. Wenn ich bin auf dem Platz, ich bin immer glücklich. Ich mache immer Spaß und das ist immer gut für mich und für meine Mannschaft.
Of course, it was a very unfortunate moment not being able to be with the national team. I was hurt, but now I feel like I had a lot of time to recover, and I feel like I'm back in full strength for the team. And as long as I'm on the field, I'm super happy, and now I'm back on the field, and I'm very happy to be here.
All right, go ahead.
Simon Borg with MLSsoccer.com. A question for Julian, a question for Mr. Guardiola. For Julian, for yourself, there's talk of you staying with the team this year, Bayern Munich, but for the best of your development, don't you feel that you'd be better off if you were sent out on loan to get more playing time? And then for Mr. Guardiola, you mentioned in a previous conference call how you think coaching is going to be a big part of how the U.S. can advance. Do you see yourself in the future contributing some of your expertise in coaching in the United States as a coach, whether club or national team?
No, I'm not thinking about a loan. I'm a player from Bayern Munich. I want to stay at Bayern Munich and play this season for Bayern Munich.
Now I'm so happy to be here. So it would be not polite to say I would like to go, another country to play, because it would be no respect for this club. It gave me the opportunity to be here to training this huge club. These amazing players. So, but once in my life, I was a kid. I never expect to be trainer at Barcelona. Never expect to become trainer by Bayern Munich. So I don't know what's going on in the future. And maybe. So I don't know. I can say no. So, but now I'm just focused to play gegen Bradley, gegen Thierry, Donovan. Next game.
All right, we're going to come here to the right.
Zach Dundas from Portland Monthly. Question for Frank and Robert. Is there any difference in preparing for this game against a team that has never played together before than preparing for any other regular kind of friendly?
Die All-Stars spielen ja normalerweise nicht zusammen. Und ist es anders, sich vorzubereiten auf ein Spiel gegen eine Mannschaft, die noch nie zusammen gespielt hat? Oder ist es dasselbe, als wenn man gegen jedes andere Team?
Nein, ich glaube, das ist, wir sind alle Profis, wir sind alle Spieler. Natürlich, für uns ist Robert ein neuer Spieler, aber er weiß, dass er ein großer Spieler, er weiß schon, was er muss machen, und ich glaube, alle kennen von Robert, was er gemacht hat mit Dortmund. Und das ist einfach, wir sind auf dem Platz, verstehe sofort, und das ist immer wichtig. Und jetzt, den Moment, mach schön mit Robert, und das ist für ihn immer gut, wenn er mal durchschießen, und das ist für seine Selbstvertrauen, aber das ist gut auch für uns.
We prepare the same way. We all have a great team together, and the All-Stars are very good players too, so we are very focused on the game. We prepare the same way, and we trust that Pep will have the right lineup for us, and we all are going to succeed as a team. And we're looking forward to having Robert with us today and on Wednesday for the game, and we think he's going to do well for the team.
We're going to go to Franco.
Franco Panizo, Soccer Bias. For Frank, You're obviously quite familiar with Thierry Henry, and there's a lot of talk right now whether he'll retire at the end of the season. What are your thoughts on going up against him, and does it have any special meaning? I know it's a friendly, but does it have any special meaning to go up against him, and what could be one of his last games of his career?
Wie fühlt es sich an, gegen Thierry Henry zu spielen? Und irgendwie gibt es Gespräche, dass er vielleicht aufhören wird mit Fußballspielen, und es könnte eins seiner letzten Spiele sein. Wie fühlt es sich an? Ist es irgendwie anders, gegen ihn zu spielen als gegen andere Spieler?
Ja, ich glaube, das ist für mich war so super. Ich habe gespielt mit Thierry Henry, war 2006 in der Nationalmannschaft und wir haben so gut gemacht diese WM in Deutschland. Das ist schade, wir haben verloren diese Finale gegen Italienisch in Elfmeter. Aber mit Thierry Henry gibt auch viele große Spieler. Ich habe viel gekannt und viel gelernt mit ihm. Für mich war ein großer Spieler, vielleicht der beste Stürmer in der Welt in einem Moment. Und ja, das ist auch für Mensch war super. Und er hat sehr gut gemacht für mich. Er hat viele Vertrauen, so viel geredet mit mir. Und war für mich war so wichtig, war ein neuer Spieler und war noch jung. Und für mich war das ist super, ich habe gespielt mit ihm.
It's a very special moment, and I remember how we played together in the national team in previous years. He's an amazing player, and I've learned so much from him, especially when I started playing and I got to play with him a lot. I learned so much from him, and I really look up to him and think he's one of the best strikers out there.
Go ahead.
Herr Guardiola, ist gut. Was erwarten Sie von dem Spiel am Mittwoch gegen die All-Stars, und welche Bedeutung hat das Spiel für die nächsten Spiele gegen Dortmund und das Pokalspiel in einer Woche?
Also wir werden dieses Spiel nur fokussieren auf in dieses Spiel. So, wir werden analysieren die Minuten unseres Spielwerten und nur für dieses Spiel.
All right, next question.
Frank, hier oben. Hallo. Die großen anderen Mannschaften in Europa haben alle nachgerüstet. Viele neue Spieler, Madrid, überall. Wie sehen Sie die kommende Saison? Was wird das für ein Jahr für Bayern? Wird das ein schwieriges Jahr oder wie wird das Jahr für den FC Bayern?
Ich glaube, jedes Jahr ist schwierig. Das ist nicht einfach. Ich glaube, wenn alle Mannschaft spielt gegen uns, er will immer gewinnen und immer 100%, er will immer gibt Gas und null Kampfe. Alle wissen so. Aber wir sind eine gute Mannschaft, wir haben gute Spieler, wir haben einen guten Trainer und alle weiß so. Und jetzt in diesem Moment, wir sind Training gut, wir sind in der Vorbereitung, wir haben noch ein Freundschaftsspiel. Und dann kommt das Spiel gegen Dortmund Supercup. Natürlich, vielleicht wir sind noch nicht komplett, aber wir sind bereit, wir sind da und wenn alle fit, kann man noch eine schöne Saison und gewinnen noch viele Titel.
All right, we're going to move over to the left. Go ahead.
Brian Barish with the Soccer Desk. Frank and Robert, you've obviously seen the growth of U.S. soccer at the international level. I'd like to get your impressions on the American domestic side with you taking on the MLS All-Stars. What's your opinion of the competition and the growth? Have you seen any growth?
Wie nehmt ihr die amerikanische Fußballkultur wahr? Und in letzter Zeit gab es viele Gespräche darüber, dass es viel besser geworden ist, Tempo besser, die Mannschaften und Spieler besser. Wie seht ihr das? Was ist euer Eindruck?
Ja, ich glaube, das ist jetzt natürlich das ist eine neue Kultur vom Fußball in Amerika und besser gewohnt, und das ist, ich glaube, viele Spieler kommen nach in Amerika und alle wollen spielen, und ich glaube, das ist eine komplett anders, das ist ein neuer Fußball, neue Atmosphäre, und ja, das ist auch eine schöne Veränderung.
The soccer culture in America is very special, and it has grown in the previous years, and it's got a lot of attention during the World Cup. And I think there's players in Europe that think about coming. There's a lot of talented young players in America, and I think the soccer culture is great, and I'm excited about it.
All right, next question, Gosaivis.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Up here in the front.
What's that?
It's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ja, ich denke, dass ich war schon in letzten Monaten in Amerika und habe ich das gemerkt, dass Fußball, ja, Soccer in USA ist wirklich populär, auch wegen WM und ja, dass so viele gute Spieler kommen auch nach MLS und ich denke, dass jedes Jahr Fußball ja, in Amerika geht hoch und auch, dass so viele Spieler kommen da und ich denke, dass für Amerika-Leute das ist auch gut, wenn so viele Leute kann schauen am Stadion wie Terry Henry zum Beispiel, ja, das ist ein super Spieler und ich denke, dass, wie ich habe gesagt, jedes Jahr, dass diese League ganze geht nach vorne.
I've been in America before, and even when I came previous times, I could see that there's a very special soccer culture in America, and players that come here are very talented. Thierry Henry is one of the best players, and I think all of these special players are going to help the league grow.
All right, I apologize to Robert.
Yeah, no
Ivis, go ahead.
Up in the front, Ivis Glarus at goal.com. Question for Pep and Julian. Julian, 6 months ago you were kind of unknown to most American soccer fans, and now you walk down the street and you're on the sides of buses. Have you been surprised by how quickly things have happened in that way? Has it surprised you that all this has happened so fast? And just for Pep, what's the most important thing you learned about yourself through this first year at Bayern Champions League, falling short, winning the league? What's the most important thing you learned about yourself as a coach?
Yeah, of course, you never know what happens. Of course, you're a little bit surprised how fast things can come. I'm 19 years old. I played the World Cup. I played 15 minutes and scored 1 goal. It's nice for me, but I'm still a young player. That's the past. Now I have to work, and that's it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
No, move on from bad was a challenge for me. So it's proved myself, will be able to try to reach good football, to reach titles with a new club, with the new players. And I understand how difficult it is. Don't use correctly or properly well the language, the Deutschland. So I have to improve that because I have to try to communicate with my players a little bit better, but it's okay. It was a challenge for me, and I'm so happy to have taken this decision.
All right, we're going to go to Doug now.
Doug McIntyre, ESPN FC. Pep, you mentioned not playing your World Cup players more than maybe 15 minutes on Wednesday. Does that include Julian Green, or how much can American fans expect to see him?
He's going to play a little bit more.
A little bit
for
more.
The fans, for the girls.
Thank you.
He's going to play a little bit more, yeah. No? You want to play?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. He's going to play.
Go ahead.
Pep, you were just talking about the challenges faced as a coach. In 2010, you had 6 players return home having won the World Cup with Spain for Barcelona. Now you have 7 players coming back who've just won the World Cup with Germany. How do you keep successful players like that hungry and motivated?
So most of the journalists ask me this question, and I don't remember what I did in this period in Barcelona, because I would make the same. I think they are in love to play football, so that is the most important thing. They are going to try still enjoy to play football, because it's difficult to every 3 days to play a game when they are not in love to take the ball, to play and to try to win. It's just I'm going to try to not to motivate it, because they have to motivate for itself. So it's ridiculous to think I have to motivate these kind of players. They have to motivate it for if it's something for inside. If that doesn't happen, I can handle the situation, and just to be fair and training as best as possible, and analyze game by game what you have going to do, and the best players, the best condition, and the best performance, and they're going to play. That's all, and not think about what's going on in the 6 months, and at the end of the season, how many titles we are going to win or don't. So it's just to focus in the short period, in the next game,
and just play. And I think we're going to make a very good season. Not many people trust us, so after Deutschland player, huge Deutschland player won, the people said we are not going to win. I know what happened in '74 when Deutschland won the Champions League with 7 or 6 or 7 players for Bayern München. They finish in the 10th position in the league, so they were going to make a little bit better than before.
All right, we're going to be doing the last few questions, so we're going to do our best to get to them. Go ahead, sir.
Pep, Sie haben Gianluca Gaudino in vielen Spielen eingesetzt in der Vorbereitung. Können Sie mal beschreiben, was Sie an ihm ganz besonders schätzen, welche Qualitäten hat Gianluca?
Die Qualitäten von Gianluca Gaudino ist, because in seinem Kopf ist er schneller als die anderen Spieler. Ist schneller. So ist schnell in den Beinen, es ist nicht Top-Score, es ist nicht super 1 gegen 1, aber in dieser Position ist er schneller. Ist nett, ist korrekt. Noch nach 4 Spielen, in die Hotel gehen mit den jungen Spielern, nicht in die Big Stars, so bleibt in seiner Position. Und, hat überragend gespielt. Auf diesem Grund, verdient bei uns bleiben und die nächste Woche bleiben trainieren mit uns. Und wir sehen in der Zukunft normalerweise, spielt U19 in der nächsten Saison, aber länger Zeit wird trainieren mit uns. Weil für seinen Blick und trainieren mit Frank, mit Robert, mit Philipp Lahm, mit Manu, mit Basti, ist die beste Entwicklung für und für die nächste Woche wird mit uns bleiben.
All right, the last 2 questions. Go ahead, Paul.
This is for Pep Guardiola. Having worked with the German players at Bayern Munich for the last year, what would you say are some of the special qualities or characteristics that German players have that have allowed them to be so successful for so many years, in particular winning the World Cup this summer?
But I think I think that the German players, they have a lot self-confidence. Okay, they believe we are good. That is very, very important. I think they're successful in the national team is because it's last 12 years, I think so, with the same coach, the same idea, the same philosophy. They know each other very, very well. When that's happened, it's easier. So, and they have a huge talent. So, without that, you can win. You can win the World Cup. And after they fight like a team. So I put an example. So Hobbit is the central right defender for Schalke 04. Played the link Innenverteidiger, left wing. So not played in his position, but they played very well. They adapt for the team. And that was the secret. Maybe they don't have the big name. They don't have a big stars like in other teams, but they are a Mannschaft. They are a team, and that's the reason why they won. And the people who are here and live in München, live in Deutschland, we are so happy for this successful.
All right, the last question is going to go to Red.
Ricardo Lopez, La Opinión. For any of you guys, it's a special meaning of facing a guy like Landon Donovan, who might be in one of his last seasons, and is going to be on the field on Wednesday. Julian?
Can you say it again?
Yeah, what does it mean for you to face Landon Donovan on Wednesday, and if it's a special meaning for any of the other guys?
Yeah, I know him from the national team. He's a really nice guy, top player. So yeah, it's nice that he's here and that we can meet him.
All right, we thank Bayern. If you guys can just stand up, we're going to have the other team come on up and join you for the photo. Thank you. All right, thanks everybody for that transition. We welcome now the MLS All-Star delegation. To my left, head coach Caleb Porter, Thierry Henry, Clint Dempsey, and Matt Beasler. We're going to go ahead and do similar as we did the first portion of the press conference, so just raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. And the first question will come right here to the front with Grant. And welcome, guys.
Grant Wall, Sports Illustrated. How does it work for you guys when you come together just for a couple of days like this, and you're playing against a Bayern team that plays together every day of the year? Just about like what do you guys try to do to keep things simple but still be dangerous out on the field? Any of you?
Boss man. Hi. First of all, no, just it's pretty simple. For me, it's my fourth one. So, you just get together, have a laugh. We had one this morning, to be honest. And, the boss is also to take charge of what he can take charge of, I guess, because we have some stuff to do, some duties, obviously. And, it's nice to be around those guys, and we usually compete, have arguments sometime on the field and whatnot. But it's nice to be around, have a laugh. Obviously, on Wednesday, you're gonna want to put a performance out there and try to make sure that we can represent the league well. And as you said, it's not always easy to perform, especially for the boss to put a team out there just in 2-3 days. But we're going to try to do it against one of the best teams in the world. But I mean, for me, it's going to be great because usually when I come here, they boo me. So hopefully they're going to be nice. I mean, even more so for you.
Taufik Khalid of ARD, German television. Thierry, was when we when we saw you just coming in with Franck Ribéry, it was looked very warm when you greeted each other. What's your relationship with Franck, and what do you think about Franck Ribéry as a player?
I mean, you guys know. I mean, I saw Frank coming in the national team very young, and you could see the talent already right from the start. It wasn't easy to make the national team with the players that we had at the time, but he came, played well, and now we all know obviously what he has done in the game. But it's nowadays I found it a bit annoying sometimes that people don't give a lot of credit to guys that are unselfish. For me, Frank will represent that. He's very unselfish on the field. He's trying to play for his team. Whenever he can pass the ball, even when he can score, he will try to pass it. And that's the way I like to see the game. I'm not saying that because I know the guy. I'm just saying that, for example, last year for me, he should have won the Golden Ball. Just basically because he won basically everything with Bayern, and he was dominant. And like I said, he's a team player. And most of the time, in our game, we reward guys are individual, and that guy is not. He will play for the team, and I mean, I can't stop talking about his quality because he has all the quality that you want from a player. But like I said, he's a team player. I'm just happy to see, the player that he turned out to be.
All right, we'll come here to the blue shirt.
Frédéric Jouan from Eurosport. Will you take advantage in meeting up while you're here with Franck Ribéry? We saw you trying to exchange numbers.
Sorry?
Will you try to meet up in the spare time with Franck Ribéry?
If he's allowed to go out. I know we are a bit. I don't know if he's allowed because I know Pep. I don't know if he's going to be allowed.
And I would have a second question. You saw the national team doing well in the World Cup. The next big competition is in France. How do you think are they building up and regaining the confidence of the French people?
Well, that was pretty what they needed to do. Get everybody back on track, loving the team. They lost against Germany. It's not the end of the world. But like I said, they were great before playing Germany, and they got everybody back loving the team. That was one of the most important things, and hopefully they can win at home 2016.
Go ahead.
Jamie Goldberg from the Oregonian. This question's for Caleb. I was just wondering kind of when you first saw DeAndre Yedlin and kind of what you remember about him initially, any first moment, and for both you and Clint, have you been surprised at how quickly he's been able to move through the ranks of MLS and on the international stage?
Well, I've been getting that question a lot, as you can imagine. First thing I saw in DeAndre was his pace. He's an elite, world-class athlete, and he's extremely quick, and his ability from the outside back position to get forward in the attack, which in the modern game is something you look for in that position. So that was what first caught my attention. He was actually playing as a winger, and I knew he had played outside back a little bit from time to time with his academy team, but I thought we had lost Kofi Sarkodie, who had done very well for us, and we were looking for an attacking right back, so we thought he could fill that role.
He's done well with Seattle. He's moved up the ranks quickly. When he came to the national team, I thought he performed well in the World Cup. I think he's the type of player that needs to be pushed, and he's someone that can step up to the challenge, but you never know if people can step up to the challenge until you put him in certain situations, and I thought that he's handled himself well in those situations. So I think the future is bright for him, and I think he'll continue to get better.
All right, we're going to go to the left. Go ahead.
Craig Bernbach, KETU here in Portland. First one for Coach Porter and then one for Clint. Coach, you've had some really good teams already in your career, but what was it like to coach that team today at practice? And Clint, now that you're a Sounder, how do you expect Providence Park to react to you on Wednesday night?
Well, it was something I was talking about with the staff afterwards. Obviously we have a good team at Portland, but to have the finest players in Major League Soccer together, and even doing a very simple session, we basically did a little 5v2 or 7v2, and to see how quickly the ball moves. I even got the spacing wrong in the grid. It was too big because these guys move so quickly, and so it was for me. It was a real joy. I love seeing high-level football, and to see the ball move, see these guys, laughing, having fun, playing a simple drill, obviously gave me a good feeling.
All right, we're going to go ahead. Promise I won't do that once this time around.
It's all good. I've always spoke highly of the organization of the Portland Timbers. Their fan base is incredible, as well as Seattle's. And it's enjoyable to come here, even though you get the boos. I think it's a great atmosphere, and it's great for the league in terms of being able to watch these games on TV or to be there live and in the stadium and feel that energy. What will happen tomorrow, we'll have to wait and see, but it's a place that I always enjoy playing at, and it's good for the league that there's such passionate fans in this league.
Don Ruiz, the Tacoma News Tribune. For Caleb, being that this is a friendly in the middle of a season, how are you going to balance trying to get a good result for MLS with returning fresh players to MLS teams for the stretch run of the season?
Well, the first question you asked, how do you get a team together in a couple of days? And the reality is, you don't. The best thing I can do is keep it simple. Obviously, I need to manage the minutes of these players. That's a priority. I want these guys to go back to their clubs healthy. And a lot of them have games Saturday, Sunday. So that means that we need to manage the minutes of the players, and we're pretty much going to play two separate groups, first half, second half. And, today was getting them moving, recovering. It was a bit of a social time as well for these guys to hang out and try to let them have that time. And then tomorrow we'll talk quickly about what we're going to do and put into place a simple structure that they can work from. But then you just want to let them go. And the key is to highlight these players' talents more than anything. This is a celebration of these players, their careers, what they've done this year, but not just this year, in their careers. It's a showcase for the league. And hopefully we can make it a competitive game. We're going to try to make it exciting. We have a lot of very good attacking players and defensive players. But it wouldn't do these players justice to sit back all game. So we're going to attack and make it an exciting game.
Go ahead.
Here's a question for Matt. The MLS All-Star team's kind of turned into an auxiliary U.S. national team, just with a lot of the names coming back in. What are your thoughts on that, and just what's it like being back in practice with a lot of these guys that you're with in Brazil?
First, thanks for asking me a question. It's nice. It's nice. We've all formed a bond through the experience of Brazil, and we spent a lot of time together this summer, and now we're back on the field. It feels like we just left Brazil. We've been playing a few weeks back with our clubs, but it really the time has flown by. So it's nice to be back with the guys. There's a feeling of comfort to see the familiar faces and to see your teammates out there with you, and hopefully we can use that a little bit to our advantage when we go out there and play on Wednesday night. The fact that a good amount of us have spent the last 6 to 8 weeks playing together.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
This is for Matt and for Clint. Of course, Matt is one of the best young players in U.S. and Clint is a legend of American soccer. But I'd like to know what you guys think about the impact and the legacy of Landon Donovan in American soccer.
What was the second part of what you were saying?
What do you think is the legacy or the impact of Landon Donovan for soccer in this country?
Yeah, he's a player that's played at the highest level for a long period of time. I think his consistency over time has been great. He's shown his quality. He's someone that will go down in history for not only the U.S. national team, but also for MLS. So I think he's definitely made an impact. He's definitely continued the growth of the game here in the States, and it's about other people continuing that. And I think that the future will be bright just because of the TV deals being done between Fox, ESPN, Univision, the academies, and developing these kids that don't have the resources to get the game to them. These kids that are hungry, and I think that's when you start seeing us even step further in the right direction. So I think the game is moving well, and Landon can be proud of the things that he's done so far, but I think he still has some more good years left. Very good. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I just think Landon's a guy who I've always looked up to, and I still look up to today, and I don't need to add much more to Clint. This is my third All-Star game, and it feels like I've been playing in a lot of these, and I feel like experienced here now, and Landon's at number 13. It's unbelievable. He's at 13, right? Yeah, hopefully. Okay. Yeah, he's an unbelievable player.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Brian Barish with the Soccer Desk. The three of you your teams are embroiled in chases for the playoff spots. What's it like to have friendlies like this? And I know, Clint, you guys played against Tottenham. What's it like? What's your mindset like to have a friendly like this in the middle of the season when your teams are competing for so much more on the domestic side?
Well, I'm gonna go. You guys can chill a bit more in the league than us, but no, it's good. Like I said, you keep your mind off the league. We are battling for the playoff. They're okay so far. But yeah, no, you just, it's good to have a break. Like the coach said before, you come here, you have a love, you're gonna try to take it seriously, obviously, and take it seriously. I mean, against Bayern Munich on Wednesday, but it's a good break.
For me, during the season, having a friendly like we had with the club team, I would have rather kept going and build off the momentum of the game that we had against Portland, and it kind of stopped things a little bit for us. I do enjoy being called into a game like this, an all-star game, to be able to play with players who you look up to, like Henry. But at the same time, I think it would be cool to go back to the old system, East versus West, because I think you could reward more players and you can reward more coaches for doing a great job. But at the same time, it's still exciting to play against a team like Bayern. It'd have been nice if we had more time to work with Caleb in terms of tactics and how to better prepare ourselves so that we could play even better than what we'll play. But at the same time, we'll still put in a good performance, we'll have fun, and look forward to the challenge.
Go ahead.
Clint, one for you and one for Matt. Clint, can you talk a little bit about your opponents on Wednesday, Bayern, just them as a team, some of their players, and maybe how familiar you are if you've gotten to see them play at all last season? And Matt, are you familiar? How familiar are you with Robert Lewandowski, and are you looking forward to playing against him?
Yes, you're familiar with the players because you see them playing Champions League. You see a lot of their players playing for the national team, and especially playing for the German national team, which won the World Cup. But at the same time, for them, it's a preseason game. I'm sure they're taking seriously, but it's still a kind of different type of game for them than it would be playing in the league, I would think. But for us, it's a difficult one because we haven't all played together, and we only have 2 days to try to get on the same page, and then Caleb has to figure out a way to balance minutes with everybody. So it's kind of an interesting setup, I would say. But yeah, it's exciting to play against those type of players. They're world class, and it's always good to see what that's like for some of the young guys who haven't gotten the opportunity to play against those type of players.
I think we all view this as a great opportunity and a great experience. I think over the past 2 or 3 years, Bayern's made a very, very strong case as the best team in the world. And it's not every day that you get that opportunity to play against one of the best teams in the world. And so I know us as players, we're excited. Individually, you always enjoy playing against world-class players, and you learn something from every experience and every player you play against, whether it's the way they move off the ball or the way they think 2 or 3 passes before, the way that they can get off a shot in just a second. Every player offers different challenges, and you look forward to playing against them.
All right, we're going to go to Paul. One second. Going to Paul first.
Paul Kennedy of Soccer America. My question is for Thierry Henry. Over all the foreign teams that come here, one of the questions that's always asked them is, are they surprised at the popularity of soccer now here in the United States? What would you say that you would tell your colleagues, your friends back in Europe about the popularity of soccer, and how much has it changed in the 5 years you've now lived here?
Well, it changed a lot, especially, and when I first arrived and I was speaking to Juan Pablo Angel, he was telling me that it already changed a lot. So he left, and I can tell you that it changed a lot. Like all the teams now have, most of the team have training facilities, new stadium. They're trying to not share stadiums. And, I'm not saying that because I'm in Portland right now, but for example, when you play is outstanding. Their fans are just great. It reminds me of any game that you can play away from home in Europe or in the Premier League. Their fans are outstanding. And the boss is here, is doing a great job too by, trying to set that team on the field and playing the right way, in my eyes. You know, they play great football, and that's also something that can help this league develop. The way he sends his team on the field, that's exactly how a team should play football. No disrespect to any other team, I'm just saying that's how you should play the game. And their fans are just amazing. And you go to Seattle, same thing. Any game away from home, you have fans, you know. And this, I mean, I was in New York, obviously, during the World Cup, and people were telling me that they'd never seen that before. You know, you were going to any restaurant, pub, name it, whatever. Everybody was like wearing a jersey or supporting a team. It was just crazy. But again, if we go back to the MLS, the way he sends his team on the field and the way the fans are reacting and coming to the game, and I always remember when we played Seattle with Barcelona. It was a tour, pre-season tour, obviously. And it was the first time that with Barcelona we got booed somewhere. Usually, you know, you come Barcelona, everybody's happy. Woo! We arrived there, they booed us. I was like, wow, you know. And but that's cool, you know. That's how it is. And Portland is the same thing, you know. They have great fans, and that did change a lot. You know, the fields are better too, you know. And that's for me. That is a plus. Then after you have another step to make is trying to catch all the massive leagues that you have in the world, but that takes time. You know, it's difficult to compete with history.
Right.
Julian Wolf, German newspaper Die Welt. Kerry, Germany is world champion. Bayern Munich gets very good results in the Champions League in the last years. What do you think about German soccer in general, and which is your favorite player, the player you impressed you most?
Listen, I've been saying that for a very long time. I used to say that to Frank Ribéry when I used to be in a national team with him. And again, I go back to Frank Ribéry and all those players, and I'm going to give you the name of the player that I like there. It's funny how people sometimes don't look at the game the way you should look at the game. You know, people, especially now, the media and stuff like that, they love a guy that does step-overs, tricks and stuff like that. That's not the game. The game is what Thomas Müller is doing for me. That's the game. That's how, if I had a son right now playing, I would say to him, look at Ribéry, look at Müller. You know, because what Ronaldo does and Messi, they're just freaks. So it doesn't happen now, but it's true. Don't try to copy those guys because they're just freaks. That doesn't happen often. But you can copy Frank Ribéry, you can copy Thomas Müller. And for me, Thomas Müller is if anyone had the record that he has at the World Cup, you know, people talk about it, but they don't talk about it like they should talk about it. He plays the game the right way. He defends, he attacks, controls the ball when he has to control it. He reverses when he has to reverse it. When he has to finish, he will finish. Yes, he doesn't do step-overs. Yes, he's not a bit everywhere. But when he has to perform, he performs. So, and I always liked that player since I first saw him, and he never stopped performing. Obviously, with Pep, now he went to another level. But yeah, Thomas Müller, because for me, he does what the game asks him to do.
On Wednesday, you get his shirt?
Well, you know, first of all, I don't know if I'm going to maybe change with Frank. But I just like people that respect the game. And when I say about that, it's not always easy to do what the game is asking you to do, right? It sounds simple, but it's one of the most difficult things. You know, always you hear people talking about the game, but there was one thing that you need to do when you're on the field: do what you can do. Don't try to do stuff that you can't. And it sounds easy, but always people try to get mixed up with that.
Great, go ahead, Ken.
Kyle McCarthy, Fox Soccer. Matt, how do you defend in an all-star game?
How do you defend in general?
How do you defend in an all-star game?
Well, like I think all of us have already said, we're limited on what we can cover in these 2 or 3 days. And like Caleb has already said, he wants us to go out and play free and attack and play exciting soccer, entertain the fans. But at the same time, it's my job in the back to make sure we're balanced. I think that's really all you can focus on. When one guy goes forward up the right side, making sure your left back is tucked in, and vice versa. And you might give away a few breaks because again we're trying to score goals in this game. But for the most part, It's trying to keep our shape as best we can and staying balanced in the back.
All right, we're going to be doing the last few questions. So Jeff, Doug, and then with the green shirt.
Jeffrey Ciano.
1 second.
Jeffrey Ciano with the Oregonian. It's for Thierry and Clint. Having played in Europe for so many years, what advice would you give to guys who haven't played of how to play and approach a game or a team like Bayern Munich?
Oof. Drink a lot of water and make sure you're going to run a lot. I mean, I've been, on the other side, obviously, and I remember, back in the days playing with Barcelona, you just don't feel tired because you always have the ball. Although you make a lot of runs, it doesn't look like you're running, but you do run. And I remember playing against the teams and wishing for the game to stop. So I hope that won't happen to us on Wednesday. But it's difficult. You know what they're going to do, you know what's going to happen, and they still do it. You just have to try to be compact. But as I know, with Caleb, we're going to try to play and attack. But to say to go back to what Matt said before is, sometimes when the team is conceding goals and we're not defending well, is because we're not putting the right pressure up front. And when they don't bring the ball out, also, for us to attack, it becomes more difficult. But you got to be a good unit. Make sure that you can hit them on the break sometime when you can, or possess the ball. Which one you want to do. Sorry.
Just go off of what Henri was saying. It's important to be confident, and what the game gives you, you have to be able to play within the boundaries of the game. Don't try to do too much. Be smart in the way you take first touches. Keep possession. How you move the ball, and take your chances when you get them. Yes, they're a good team, world-class team, but you have to be confident in yourself and go out there and show what you're capable of. Enjoy the moment and have fun, but do it in an organized way. So that's what I would tell some of the younger players.
Just a quick follow-up. Do you see this, you guys, particularly with Matt and Clint, with so many Americans on the MLS team and so many Germans on the Bayern team, as kind of a rematch of your game against Germany on the World Cup?
Nah, I don't see that. It's a different type of game. It's not a World Cup. You can't replicate that pressure. You can't replicate that build-up. It's a 4-year process of qualifying to get to that moment, and I really can't look into it like that. Personally, is how I feel.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's more of a storyline.
Go ahead, Doug.
Doug McIntyre, ESPN FC. Clint, it's hard to believe the national team starts playing games again next month. How much do you expect to be involved going forward? If not so much this year, next summer, which is really important with the Gold Cup, the U.S.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I would like to continue playing for the U.S. team, but that depends on if you're performing and getting called in. For me, I would like to definitely push for playing in Copa America. It's a tournament that I always valued and wanted to participate in. I never got the opportunity to. So if I get the opportunity in 2 years' time to play in the Copa America, that would be awesome. But like you said, it's not my decision whether I get called in or not. You have to be performing. They have to still see you. Jurgen has to decide whether if I'm still part of his plans or not, and just take it from there.
All right, to wrap it up, the last two, one with the green shirt, and then
Levy Bird with Sports Illustrated. Thierry, having the benefit of a long career to look back on, looking forward to the game tonight, the homegrown game. There's obviously been a push in MLS to get more of the homegrown players involved and get a little bit less of the college route involved in bringing players up. What are your thoughts kind of on the feeder system, I guess, for players coming into the league these days?
Well, I kind of have some discussion with some of the guys, the young kids in my team, and I wanted to know, obviously, how the system was. And one thing is difficult, and the coach here, Caleb, can tell you that how you improve and how you progress is hours and repetition and work. And it's kind of difficult for some of those kids sometimes, because if you step out of your university at 23, 22, or 24, like they do sometime here, for example, a kid in Europe will be training every day since he's 13 years old. So that amount of time that you're losing is huge at the end. But somehow, you guys guys like I have on my left here performing, but you got to concentrate on your youth. That's very important. That's the future of the game. And if you want to improve, so it's time, work, and repetition.
Caleb, having been a college coach, what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
I would agree. I mean, the two things I think that biggest things that go into developing players is the environment and time. And the sooner you can get kids in a high-level environment that's as close to being professional as possible, the more time you get in that environment, the more you develop players. In saying that, there are going to be guys that, for whatever reason, don't go directly into the professional leagues, and they go to college for whatever reason. So we need to, because that's still a step in the process, a relevant step, I think we need to move in a direction, the kids that do go to college, where there's longer seasons, where they have more training opportunities, more games, and I know that they are looking at that currently, doing a split season, which will stretch the season out, which will allow for more training opportunities, more preparation. But I agree with Thierry. Kids coming into the pros at 22, 23 years old, it's tough. For a lot of guys, it's the first time they haven't played or started. For a lot of guys, it's the first time they've been, tested and suffered. So, for me, I think we need to start earlier and we need to develop better environments from top to bottom.
I have a scholarship at goal.com. Question for Terry and Caleb. Terry, you've played for a lot of top managers in your career. What makes Pep special? What makes him unique? And Caleb, you've obviously studied Barcelona under Pep. You studied Pep. What's impressed you the most about him as a manager?
Well, I think what impresses me, two things about Pep. It's not just the tactics. It's the way he leads, and the way he manages, and the way he relates to his players. And that's key. You can know everything there is to know about tactics, but if you can't articulate what you want, and more importantly, get your players to listen, then it doesn't matter how much you know. And I think he has the ability to do both. He knows the game inside and out. I enjoy watching, as much as he gets categorized with a very strict philosophy, there's some adaptation, and you're seeing that now in Bayern. They're moving, the shape they're playing is much different. I think it's him realizing in the German league that he's got to be more protected on the counterattack, and they're playing with more of a 5-back, 3-back system, which you saw a lot in the World Cup, and so the game is moving kind of in that direction, less away from teams that are dominating with possession up in the front half, pressing all the time. In some ways, teams are conceding possession and playing more on the counter. And because the transition is so important in the modern game, you have to be protected on the counterattack, and especially in the German league. So I like watching the things that he's doing with his teams, because he seems to always be at the forefront of the trends. And I like watching that, but I admire his leadership just as much.
For me, it's discipline. When they arrived at Barcelona, he put discipline into that team on everything, outside of the field and on the field. And whatever you're thinking of when you play against him or you have to play against his team, he already thought about it 3 days before you did. He will be ahead of you, always a step ahead on everything, free kicks, throwing, whatever it is. He's thinking way ahead of the game, and he demands a lot from his players, a lot. I remember some games where we're like 5-0 up at halftime, and he wasn't happy. That's him. He was demanding a lot. The fans also at Barcelona demands a lot, but he wants perfection from you in training, outside of the field, on the field. So you better be ready. He always keeps you on your toes, and that's just the way it is. Whatever it is you do in training, even when you go and drink, you have to go and run and drink. I'm not joking. No, you can't waste any time. So a pass, if you don't pass it well, he will tell you. If you don't because a lot of people play, for example, the 5v2, like to joke around, like we always do. But when he's around, you don't joke around the 5v2. It's an exercise. So let's do it properly. The weight of the pass has to be proper. Everything has to be proper. You go to run, you go to have a drink, like I said to you before. You have to go quick, come back, we're here to train. That's why he's what it is, what the boss that he became. He loves the game too. You arrive at the training ground, he's there at 7, and he leaves at 7. There's no mistakes there.
With that, we will wrap this press conference up. Thank you to the MLS All-Stars for attending, and thank all of you for covering the AT&T MLS All-Star Game. Thanks.